Thank you for joining us all. My name is Chris Dow. I am the Regional Sales Manager for Grandstream North America, and with me is John Williams, VP of Sales at TDL Gentek. I'll let him introduce himself, and we'll get this presentation going here in just a moment.
Great, thanks, Chris. Certainly, this is welcome to our TDL Gentek Thursday training sessions, our webinars. This is something we do weekly or almost every week to position products, new items, new products, new feature sets into the marketplace. So really happy to have Chris with us today to go over small business solutions from Grandstream. Just a quick note, we are going to be watching the chat room, so certainly feel free anytime to ask questions. We'll break in, try to get those answered immediately, or we'll save them to the end so that we can certainly get all your questions answered. And if we can't do it today, we'll follow up in the next few days as well. This is again, we're at a pace that we're going to go through. There's a lot of product and a lot of information here today to share. So we'll try to get through it very quickly. Just as a quick introduction to TDL Gentek, we are a Canadian distributor with locations across Canada, warehouses in Trenton, Concord, and in Edmonton, sales offices in Vancouver, Paris, Ontario, and Montreal. So basically looking to service your needs across Canada. We are focused on products for UC service providers, UC resellers, wireless internet service providers, and just your everyday internet service providers, so cable modems and the like. Next slide, please. We can move to the next one. There we go. We can go through. This is our primary headquartered warehouse. Next slide. Just taking a look at the products that we have available to us. We have the cable modem series broadband devices. That's for our internet service providers. We carry unified communications, voice, video, messaging products. We're really proud to have the full Grandstream line with a lot of inventory based in the Toronto area to service our customers. Networking products, again, you'll see some networking products from Grandstream. We do have some others as well, some SVC, some SD-WAN products, and the like. We also carry, as part of the recent merger between TDL and Gentek, we have some wireless products. Next slide, please. As well as some networking products from Ubiquity, but the wireless pieces from Tarana and Mimosa and Radwin, and some consumer goods. This comes from the heritage of TDL themselves, so we actually have a consumer goods business as well. Stay tuned for those of you who are Gentek and TDL resellers. We are going to be looking at having a little website available for friends and family for some of our consumer goods in the near future. So you could get your Christmas shopping done at a reasonable price, if not a really good price, for some of the products we have in that environment. Next slide, please. So again, I'm going to pass it off to Chris. We'll get right into the Grandstream introduction and product line. At the end, I'll give you a couple of email addresses and contacts for TDL Gentek. And again, really proud to have Grandstream with us today. Products, we've had a lot of success with the products you're going to see here today, and some of the new products are just a great addition to it. So over to you, Chris. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. Good morning, everybody, or afternoon, wherever you're at. Just to reiterate what John said, we do have someone watching the question and answer box. So for anyone that has questions, feel free to pop those through and we can take care of those on the fly. As far as who Grandstream is, some of you may know this. For the newbies, the company was founded in 2002. We are a US-based company out of Boston, Massachusetts. So this is our 21st year anniversary, I guess. 600 plus employees across the world, 14 different countries, with all the offices and warehouses and whatnot. Last count, we were used and sold in 150 countries around the world. So we are a true global company as far as where this product is being used. And we are the largest manufacturer of ATAs and second largest manufacturer of IP phones and IP video phones worldwide. That was last year. So a lot of you may know us in the unified communications space, but we've since branched out off of that, which I'll touch on here in a minute. As far as our mission goes, we believe in connecting the world. You'll see that with many of our products. They all communicate nicely with one another, but also third-party products as well. So we design our products to really make connecting the world become a reality. As far as our total solutions go, we aim to be a one-stop shop for all VoIP, UC, and networking needs. You could also throw in facility management and access control and conferencing to that as well. We really have customized solutions to how the SMB space and how your businesses work for the most part. So you won't see any licensing fees on any of our hardware. It's very flexible. They are really open source products or open SIP products. A lot of them are expandable. And of course, we have Android models as well on the video phone side. With no licensing fees, that also applies to some of our different management options. So on the unified communications side, for those of you that have been familiar with Grandstream over the years, you might remember GAPS. We have a new platform that we call GDMS, or Grandstream Device Management Service. Essentially, it's GAPS as far as the redirection goes, but also gives you the ability to configure, manage, and monitor all of your devices in the field as well. So a more in-depth platform, if you will. Again, free to use. It's cloud-based. We host on AWS. There's no limit in the number of devices you can have on that as well. And then on the networking side, again, both options completely free to use. We have our GWN.cloud platform and our GWN manager platform, depending upon if you need a cloud or on-prem option. And then a third option is most of our access points have embedded controllers as well. So if you wanted to keep it as a local deployment, you could use that embedded controller as well. Now, into the meat and potatoes of the presentation here, we're going to be talking about various deployment scenarios. I think there's 3 to be exact. So we have home office, remote. We'll talk kind of retail, small business type deployment, and then we'll end with a hotel type scenario as well. So from a home office remote deployment standpoint, we're going to be talking about router, access point, phones, and then a switch that can kind of power everything. So here's kind of, what we're looking at. And my office here at the house is actually very similar to this as well. So you have your router, and we'll talk GWN 7062 because we've seen a lot of these deployed in residential type environments since we launched this router. So, it can support up to 256 concurrent clients. So that could be computers, smart TVs, cell phones, whatever's on the Wi-Fi network there at the home office. This is a Wi-Fi 6 router, and it's also a gig router as well. So you can use those gig fiber connections at the house. It's a 2x2 dual band. You do have the built-in VPNs. From a protocol standpoint, you have OpenVPN, IPsec in there. It supports mesh networking with the GWN series APs. So we'll talk in a minute on the access points, but you can set up a home mesh network as well. These are cloud provisioned and managed with GWN.cloud, like I just mentioned. And then we also have the security features built in as well. So secure boot, firewall features, network blacklist, you name it. But this can truly be a home router that can power your home office. From a access point standpoint, there's a few different ways we could go with this. I went with the GWN 7661 because personally I have a few of these at the house and they work great, so I can attest. But we built these kind of with the residential or hotel market in mind, where this is an access point that can actually go right over the network drop faceplate in your wall if you wanted it to. So if you had a home or a small office that had network drops available, or you could pay someone to run network drops, or you could do network drops for that matter, you can have these plugged straight into the wall with the Ethernet coming in, and set up the mesh network using that router we just talked about. So this is a Wi-Fi 6 access point. It's a 2x2, up to 100-meter range with the new GWin.cloud update that we put out, I guess, 2-3 weeks ago. We have heat maps in there now. So you could run a heat map at the home office, figure out the rooms you need these access points in, or just throw them in the heavy traffic rooms and manage them through GWin.cloud that way. From a desk phone standpoint, the GRP 2616, which is one of our top selling phones globally, as well as in North America. This is extremely popular in home deployments, though. We've seen quite a bit of these deployed, actually. So you have your 4.3-inch color main LCD screen there up top. And then you also have a secondary LCD screen that you see there in the bottom right. You can set up live VLFs for people on your sales team. So if the whole team's remote, you can see their status there real quickly on that dual LCD screen. But you can have 2 pages of those, so up to 16 keys, 8 per 2 pages. It's a 6 SIP account, 6-line phone. This is going to have integrated Wi-Fi, so you can run it over the Wi-Fi network, integrated Bluetooth, so you can use the headsets as well. And then if you really wanted to get crazy, it has a swappable faceplate where if the company wanted to brand that, you could do that as well. If you wanted to go up a step, we have our Android GXV video phone line. Here's the 3480, which is our 8-inch touchscreen Android video phone. This runs Android 11, has the built-in camera as well with the privacy shutter. But like the GRP, this does have integrated dual-band Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. So again, you can run this over the network that we've talked about. And you have the Bluetooth for headsets and mobile devices. The other thing this will have is HDMI input and output. So if you wanted to connect this to a TV, for example, for video calls or whatnot, you could do that. And being Android, this is compatible with popular Android applications as well. So you could download those third-party apps and run those as well. And then lastly, as far as home deployment goes, we have our new line of unmanaged switches. So these are a switch you could throw in a quick home wiring closet, or maybe you have the wiring closet in your office, wherever that is. But we have a few different options depending upon what you're looking for from a port standpoint. How many PoE ports, if you want desktop, wall mount, rack mount, what have you. The easy way to describe these is anything with a P at the end is a PoE switch. So the GWin 7700 and 7701 are going to be your kind of affordable plastic non-PoE unmanaged switches. The 7700P, 7701P are nicer. They're going to be a metal enclosure. They're going to be PoE on some of the ports. And then the one at the far right, the PA model, that really means PoE on all is the easy way to put it. So that's a 8 gigabit port with all 8 of those being PoE. But again, unmanaged switches for you to run a home office environment on. Now, deployment scenario number 2. This will be your small businesses. So we'll focus on retail and restaurants, but the same could hold true for really any SMB type environment. So the kind of lifeblood of any small business is really going to be your IP PBX, which we'll touch on in a minute. And then you have your managed switch, Of course, Wi-Fi coverage, where's the internet coming in, and then the endpoints off of that, whether it be phones or access control at the entrances, something along those lines. From the IP PBX standpoint, a lot of you may know about our UCM 6300 series. And really, we've built an entire ecosystem around that 6300 series now. You have GDMS for the cloud-based management of the UCMs. You have Remote Connect for the seamless management and configuration of the remote extensions that might be on that PBX. And then you have our Grandstream Wave, which is the soft phone application where you can collaborate from any device, whether it be mobile, a computer, really anything as far as that's concerned. So with the UCM, we have two different models. We have the UCM 6300A series, which is our audio only series. And then we have just the standard UCM 6300 series. The easy way to tell the difference in the two is the audio only series will not have the built-in video conferencing server, if you will. So for any SMBs that don't really need video conferencing, you can put them in a audio only series, which is a little bit more cheaper, if that's the right word. Cost isn't as much than the standard UCM series. So that's really the first question you need to ask. Do you need video conferencing or not? From there, you can slot them into this series or that series and then figure out how many users, concurrent calls, XFS, FXS, FXO ports, all those standard questions after that. From a router standpoint, we have our new line of multi-WAN VPN routers. So these are going to be the wired routers. Think GWN 7000 replacement. I know we used to get a lot of questions on that, and we finally have a couple different options or a few different options to not only replace that but enhance that as well. So depending upon what you're looking for, we have a few different options here. Both vary from a gigabit WAN and LAN port. As you go to the right, it's a little bit more higher power as far as specs go. But they're all going to be 2.2 gig wired throughput routers. Really the only difference is how many VPN tunnels and then how many access points you can control off the embedded controller. But all of these are also managed through the GWN.cloud and GWN Manager from a router standpoint as well. As far as setting up the network goes, the GWN 7664 is by far our most popular access point in the SMB space. You can either wall or ceiling mount these access points. This is our Wi-Fi 6 4x4 access point. From a comparison standpoint, because I get asked, there's nothing really apples to apples, but this would be close to like a U6 Pro or Unify U6 for those that are looking for that comparison. This does support up to 750 concurrent clients, so this is one of the reasons why it's the most popular in the SMB space for us. And then again, the free management options. So you can manage these through the GWN.cloud or GWN Manager, or this is one of the access points that has the embedded controller as well. And then for in a retail type environment, a lot of people are walking around. Here is our WP cordless Wi-Fi phone. So this is the WP822. This is becoming the most popular in our WP line, but essentially this is kind of the direction we've gone and away from DECT for those that haven't used this. We've made some big investments in the Wi-Fi space. So these literally run off the network of the deployments. So this is a dual band Wi-Fi phone. It's 2 SIP accounts, 2 lines. For those of you that were using the WP820, it's going to be very similar in spec, just this has a bigger battery. So this is going to be an 8-hour talk time and 200 hours standby. I think the WP820 was 7 hours and 150 hours of standby. But this also has integrated Bluetooth. You can connect your headsets to it. This also has a configurable button for push to talk. So like those old Motorola, I think they were Motorola. Those Motorola phones, you can page back and forth with these WPs. And then it also has a micro USB port and a 3.5 millimeter headset jack. So if you didn't want to use a Bluetooth headset, you could connect the headset jack to it as well. And then the WP825 is going to be very similar to the 822. However, this is the ruggedized model of our Wi-Fi phone. So spec-wise, it's going to be all the same from what we just talked about. The only difference is, waterproof, dustproof, and drop safe from 2.5 meters. So this is the ruggedized version of the 822. So why WP? I just want to touch on this real quick because we get a bunch of questions about DECT and everything. So one, roaming is the big one that comes to mind. So it's ideal for large stores and warehouses. You don't have to worry about setting up base stations and repeaters. As long as, the store has sufficient enough Wi-Fi, there is no roaming in that sense. The other thing that comes to mind is the cost of these WPs have come down so much where from a financial standpoint, it's actually pretty close to DECT now. That gap used to be bigger. It's a lot more smaller now. It's just an easy, cleaner deployment to me. So you don't have to worry about setting up a parallel DECT network is really the big thing. And you don't have the restriction to the base station range. For the retail deployments that have desk phones, the 2615 is one of the more popular ones that we've seen. You can mount this on the wall or at the desk, depending upon what they want to do there. It's a lot similar to the 2616 that we just talked about. The screen up top is the same size. This is going to have integrated Wi-Fi as well, integrated Bluetooth. The other thing this one has is the sidecar compatibility support. So for anyone that wants to use a sidecar, the GBX20 would be the compatible one for that. But again, to stick with the Wi-Fi theme for all these deployments, the big thing is this is an integrated dual band Wi-Fi phone. And then finally, every SMB to run any of this we just talked about needs a switch. So here's our layer 2 managed switch line. We recently launched layer 3 switches as well for anyone looking for layer 3 switches. But these layer 2 switches, we have anywhere 8, 16, 24, and most recently launched 48 ports, both PoE and non-PoE, depending upon what you're looking for. All with the exception of the 7801 are rack mountable. Outside of that, they're all desktop mount compatible. And then, of course, as you get bigger, the switching capability gets stronger. So depending upon what you're looking for, we have a few different flavors. And then the big thing is with the GWN Cloud updates that we've launched over the last couple months, these are fully managed switches now. So you can manage these completely through GWN.cloud. So pretty unique in that sense. And then finally, the last deployment scenario, hotels and apartments. And this is something that has really become prevalent over the last couple of years, I'll say post-COVID, with some of these deployments and renovations getting back on track. So here's what that end-to-end solution looks like. Of course, you have SIP service coming into an IP-PBX. That's our UCM. Goes to a switch. And then from there, the switch controls all the endpoints. So you have your access points there controlling the network. You have the Android video phones there for security. The front desk could use the GRP 2615 and the sidecar. The hotel staff has the cordless Wi-Fi phones we just talked about. Any conference rooms, you have the conference room GAC 2570. And then guest rooms, hotel phones. That's kind of the next thing that we'll talk about here. So Grandstream launched our first line of hotel phones probably 8-9 months ago. It was right about the end of last year, beginning of this year. So we have 4 different options now. Well, 2 options, I guess, just 2 different colors of each to make 4. So you have the GHP 1610 and 1611 there on the left, and then the GHP 620 and 621 there on the right. All of these are going to be 2-line, 2-SIP account. For the W models, you'll see a W at the end. Each model has integrated dual band Wi-Fi. So if you wanted these with Wi-Fi compatibility to run off the Wi-Fi network, we have that option. And then they're all going to be cloud provisioned and manageable with GDMS. So these are all cloud managed phones. From the GHP 610 and 611 series, here's how that breakdown looks. So really 2 different flavors. You have white or black options, and then Wi-Fi or non-Wi-Fi, depending upon what you're looking for there. Outside of that, spec-wise, it's going to be very similar. So again, 2-line, 2-SIP account, HD audio, 3 programmable keys across the board, and GDMS compatible. With the 62X series, I'll call it, these are going to be a little bit nicer as far as the LCD screen goes up top. So you're going to have more programmable keys because the larger screen, but again, this is still going to be a 2-line, 2-SIP account phone. And then 2 different flavors. You have what color between white or black, and then Wi-Fi or non-Wi-Fi. That's really what it comes down to. So those are currently our hotel phone line. And then with our hotels, we have the customable faceplate option as well. So this is an example of what the GHP 62X series faceplate looks like. But for anyone interested, there's a URL there where you could actually go on and create your own faceplate design. For the GHP 61X series, there's no LCD screen, so really no faceplate to go on. However, there is a card stock option where you can print out and put the options on there, depending upon how the buttons are configured. And then for the GHP 62X series, there's both a cardstock and then a silk screen option, which is what you see here. Really, the silkscreen option gives you the ability to, put your logo on there, change the color of the logo. You can remove the logo. You can change the color of the faceplate, the font, whatever you need there. Only caveat is there is a minimum order quantity on these faceplates. So for anybody interested, feel free to jump on, create your own faceplate design, send it to Gentek, your distributor, and they can get with us as far as what the pricing and MOQs look like from there. Then from a network standpoint, there's a couple different access points I wanted to touch on real quick. The GWN 7602 here was actually designed with hotels in mind. It was actually a hotel OEM project that brought this one about. So this is a dual band 2x2 access point, supports 80 concurrent Wi-Fi clients with a 100-meter range. Really, the kind of nuance with this one is it has 3 100 megabit ports to provide power, if you will, to IP phones, the TV in the room, computers, or any other similar device with Ethernet, while also providing that uplink gigabit network port. So it's pretty unique in that sense. You can mount it underneath a table in a room. You can mount it on the wall, wherever you wanted to do that. But it's unique in a sense of those different ports that it can power all the IP devices that are now in hotel rooms. And then the GWN 7624 here is the Wi-Fi version really of the previous talked about 7661. So this is going to be a hybrid access point in a sense where you get 4x4 on the 5 gigahertz band and then 2x2 on the 2.4 gig band. But similar to the one we just talked about, 100 meter range, has the gigabit uplink port and Ethernet port. And then this is going to be PoE and PoE plus. So a couple different options there that you can use to give Wi-Fi throughout a hotel, whether it be in a singular room, or you can put these in the hallway, for example. And then lastly, since we're talking about hotels here, our UCM series of IPPBXs has property management system integration. So natively, we have Mitel, HSC, and HMobile available. And then we also have a HTTP API as well, where you can tie into to other third-party PMS systems as well. So I know people are using it. It's popular in that sense. And just a use case scenario that we actually see quite a bit here on the Grandstream side. So with that, I know it's a mouthful. Tried to break up some of the different products into the use cases. So again, if anyone has any questions, feel free to keep popping them through. Want to invite John back if he has anything else. I know he had some emails he wanted to share. And if anyone is looking for any of these products, feel free to utilize TDL Gentek to get those orders fulfilled.
Great, thanks, Chris. That was a great overview. Really want to thank everybody that made the group chat very exciting, very interesting. Lots of feedback. Chris, you'll get a chance to review that, but certainly a lot of comments, a lot of interest on the various products. Some great new product suggestions, and some things that I know I've been asking Grandstream to add to the product line as well. So really appreciate all the feedback. It was a really excellent group. Yeah, the next slide I have just some of the email addresses you can get a hold of us. You may already know your TDL Gentek sales rep. We have an inside sales team, outside sales team willing to help you go through. Oh, we didn't have it. So sales@tdlgentek.com is the easiest way to get a hold of us. There's a lot of different ways. Certainly feel free to give us a call, and we'll send out a little bit of an update for the team for your contact stuff via email. And again, appreciate you joining. Chris, thank you for doing a great job. Jacqueline and Tina for putting this together. Again, we do this pretty much every Thursday. We may miss 1 or 2 Thursdays every month, but we do hope that you sign up for our email and newsletter intro and give you the overall view, and make sure that, there you go, tdl@tdlcanada.ca or sales@gentek.com are the 2 email addresses to reach out if you don't have a direct sales rep that you deal with today. So again, thank you very much. This concludes today's webinar. Appreciate all the support and the attention you gave us. And again, great question.